So here's what creates the difference in life and how we live our lives, how we are fulfilled. And it's this living from love and acting from love rather than for love. There may be a thin line between the two, but when we do something for love, we actually act in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to belong. And that can often create a sense of being less than if we do not do that. It can create a sense of fear when we create for love. Sometimes we would do stuff and take actions that don't align with us, only so we will receive love, or an idea of love. When we act from love, we do whatever we do, our decisions, our actions, our behavior, we do it from excitement, from joy, from devotion, from dedication, from love. And I'm curious actually to hear if you see the difference in that. Because for me it's a huge difference. Because I would in the past do things for love that didn't feel aligned to me, that didn't feel true or natural, that had the signature of fear. And that's really what it is. Either we live from love or we live from fear. And fear can show up in many, many ways, right? Like when we look at all these ideas of anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, all these ideas of people pleasing and such things. These are all behaviors that we learn, even empathy to a certain degree, even having narcissistic and egocentrical characteristics are, inclinations that we live from fear, competition, hierarchy. It's all signs of a fear-based culture, of a fear-based way of living. When we live from love, it has a different signature in our body. It has a different signature in the way that we hold ourselves, and it also genuinely comes with less expectation, When we act from love, we are not looking primarily to receive something back or to manipulate or to get something in our way. We will make automatically decisions that feel like they are giving us fulfillment and excitement and love because we decide to do it our way and to trust our maybe sense of creativity, sense of direction, decision making, the way that we say no and yes to things. And obviously living from love is a huge deconditioning process that is happening especially strong right now in the world. So when people speak about moving from 3D to 5D, it's not that we're entering a different world. It's not that we are separating in the physical sense. It's what people want to say with that is that you're deconditioning your fears, your fear and lack mindsets, all the way that you put on, you shrinked or try to make yourself bigger in some way to be loved, to belong, to be accepted, to be safe. And as we are moving through that deconditioning, we're moving into a state from love. And that can feel very rocky in the beginning And we can move between fear, okay, love, fear, love, especially if we're growing, if we're taking decisions for our natural soul aligned expansion and expression. The more we move into alignment and therefore take decisions that are natural to our soul, natural to our boundless being that we are. We're a soul incarnate, partly incarnate in this human experience. I choose to not just believe that, I know that when I feel into myself. So rather than believe, start feeling what feels true for you. And I know that a lot of people are afraid to even consider working on themselves, shadow work, inner child work, all that, because it would threaten the identity that they have built for themselves. And that is not just threatening to the mind, that is threatening to your whole nervous system. Yeah, that's why often, people, when we talk about aliens and stuff like that, I mean, I think governments don't really open up on that because they actually did studies on that people would absolutely freak out. There would be, mass chaos and everything. So most people need time to slowly adjust their nervous system to the idea that we are more than just what meets the eye, that we are souls. And like I said, the deconditioning process of that needs to be slowly for many people, for most people. When we force it, or when we actually force others to change and open up, that may not be ready for it. That creates that fear. And that creates those reactions like rejection and anger and all these kind of things. So if you're somebody who is kind of discovering all these topics and you clicked on this video and maybe you've done some research into what it means to be a soul or spirituality or other forms of inner work, like shadow work, inner child work, all these kind of things, then you may be ready for it and you may discover a whole new world. This is how it was for me. I discovered a whole new world beyond the veil, so to say. And I wanted to change people. I thought I wanted to do it from love. But then I realized that who am I to, choose how their life path is supposed to be, or if they are too slow or too fast, or making the right or wrong decision. We are all kinds of people on earth in order to mirror each other. And one thing we're supposed to learn is acceptance and love. And that's hard. It's hard to love somebody who, maybe doesn't feel or think the way you do. It's hard to love somebody when we think we have now all the answers. Maybe you feel that right now, like you're understanding the world or yourself or the universe much better. And I had that phase too. And yes, but can we do it from humility, grace, and also a sense of maybe I don't know everything? Because I had a phase where I was like, whoa, oh my God, I know how it's done now. And it's just as much as an illusion as not even looking at it. Yeah. So I think if you're struggling with letting people live the way they do, and I know that it's hard sometimes because we want to help our friends, our families, and all that. But is that really love to force? How can we find attributes of them that are loving? Maybe they're loving in different ways than we do. Maybe they're loving through cooking your food, or double checking that you have enough socks, or double checking that, you have a full fridge or whatever, or asking you 5 times about something. Yeah, like everybody lives differently and loves differently and has different levels of consciousness, which is not about hierarchy and better or worse. It's just polarity. It's just how it is, and everybody is on their journey, and we all have a role to play. And maybe the person that you don't understand why they are not taking better care of themselves or whatever, maybe they are here to teach you exactly the opposite, to take good care of yourself and to nourish yourself, and how good life can feel when you dare to do that. Yeah, just as an example. And then still honor where they're at. Again, without hierarchy, without better or worse, just honoring everybody's path. And I know that this is hard. There's duality in that, right? Maybe you want to help. But the best help you can do is just be there when they're ready. If they ever want to, maybe they will never be. Maybe it's not where they want to go. Yeah. So I am somebody who is absolutely devoted to living life as close to my soul as I can. And not everybody is going to feel the same way. I had to learn that the hard way. And I had to find a way to accept that and to make peace with that. For me, though, it's devotion. And then I also had a phase where I thought like, oh, I shouldn't, why am I focusing so much on that? Why am I so devoted to that and so dedicated? It's just, it's even a feeling. It's not something that comes from my head. It's something that is just innate. I cannot change that about me. And honestly, I wanted for a while because I just wanted to fit in, be like everybody else, not rock the boat. But you know what? Like, if you're here to rock the boat, if you're here to do whatever is your calling and your soul print, and you're willing to or feel called to embody it. And again, it's again a process of grace. Because I also had a phase when I wanted to force it. When I thought like, oh, I need to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that brought me to a very difficult place of frying my nervous system to a point where I couldn't do anything. And that's a story for another day, but if you feel called to be who you want to be, who you are, from the heart, from the soul, not from your head and to be somebody in the world, but from this felt sense of, oh, this is me. And sometimes that may feel hard to explore, to allow, to really allow yourself to be. Because maybe in childhood you were shamed for certain attributes or certain sensitivities or certain desires, or, your drive to go deeper or whatever. That's what I felt. And when you allow yourself to, or when you decide, you know what, I know that I want to live a full soul-based, soul-aligned life, but you still have fears and you still have the sense of, oh, I don't know if I can, that feels scary, or I don't know if I will be loved and accepted. That is the inner work. And again, I want you to approach it with grace and compassion to yourself, and just know that it will take some time. It will take some time, and it's a life journey, and that's our humanity. Okay, this is our humanity, to give ourselves grace and realize nothing ever is perfect and everything is imperfectly perfect. nature is. And when we start just listening to our soul, not trying to be someone and find a way and and like find your purpose. No, start listening to those little whispers of your soul. It's not going to be the loud, angry, judgmental voice that is your soul. It's going to be the quiet one, the whispers, the calm one. And sometimes those whispers get loud, and sometimes those whispers do get a little pushy. But that will be from love. That will be from care. And your job is it to differentiate those voices and get familiar with your intuitive or soul voice. And again, that is if you feel called to live a soul-based life, soul-fulfilling life. And that is a life from love. That is a life from care. And that is a journey. It's a big journey. But if this is for you, again, like I always like to say, take a deep breath. Give yourself a little grace. And if you feel like you need to rush it, or if you feel like, that's hard and you don't know how to ever get there, journal out your biggest fears. What would happen? What is the worst thing that could happen? Could you not be loved? Could you not be accepted? What is the fear? Because when we are, clear, when we find clarity about our fears and not just, have them run inside of us, if we look at them, if we face them, if we try to understand them and feel them, this is when we find safety. And the best thing you can do is start to, if you want to live a fulfilling, soul-connected life, the best thing you can do is start to get to know yourself on every level, literally on every level. And that can be through somatic work, like I do it. I work on many levels. I work on the soul, I work on the psyche. Like I have clients that are not there on this soul path, and that's fine. But the more we unblock the psyche and the fears, the more you'll connect to your intuition and soul. So we can work in many ways if you ever feel called to reach out. All the info is in the box below. But other things that you could also do that are quite helpful, that we don't want to get hung up on as a crutch, but that can be like ways to understand your soul blueprint, or, your characteristics and your natural qualities better. Because sometimes when we have a lot of conditioning, when we had a lot of trauma or a lot of, difficult experiences growing up, then often we see ourselves in a different light and we don't see clearly our qualities and our gifts and who we really are. Yeah, and if we basically have a distorted self-image, then often we cannot see what we're here for, who we are, what's our purpose, why we deserve to be loved and cared for and connected with others. And nice ways to do that is, for example, to look at your human design, maybe get a reading or check it out online. That helped me a lot to understand how my energy works. It gave me also a lot of reassurance. Again, we always want to be on the path of not using it as a crutch to hold on to. So again, from fear, we want to use it from love to understand ourselves better, to understand how we can be of service in the world by being ourselves. And then we also learn, oh wow, yes, I always suppressed this part of me because I thought this and this. And then when you see it in your soul blueprint of your human design, or your natal chart of your astrology, that felt to me very reassuring of all the things that I always felt and went through, and my qualities and gifts. It just obviously if it resonates with you, but to me that was super helpful. Yeah, but if you get readings with practitioners, just make sure they are of high quality. So somebody who is really excellent at describing you and answering your questions. Not that you walk away feeling more confused than before. So again, it's a thing when we choose somebody to work with, no matter on what level, always sense, make the decision from love, not from fear. Don't pedestal people. See if you resonate, who you resonate with. Yeah. When you look at an image of somebody you consider working with or buying something from, what I do is I feel in my body how I feel about this person. Is it opening? Does it feel safe? Or is it more a closing feeling? Does it make me feel like I'm inferior, or I feel needy or something like that? Yeah, so that can also be distorted sometimes when we grew up in a certain way of thinking that something is safe, but it was only familiar. So we need to learn a whole new sense of what feels safe. And again, that is also learning how to live from love rather than for love, and actually from fear. So that is my message for today. I'm walking home now, my daily forest walks. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you. Comment below if you tried any of those techniques, or if you have any others you want to share. There are really a million different things out there. I just wanted to give you a couple of ideas. Alrighty, sweet people. See you next time.